I can't just tour with singles anymore. Like I want to feel like a real artist that is putting out something cohesive. And I've always wanted to put out a body of work. I think it's just like the pressure. Honestly, it's so hard to even create a body of work because you have to stay consistent with releasing music. And I was like, okay, how am I gonna keep releasing all this music while also saving some of this music to create a body of work while also playing shows and like keeping up with social media and all that.
Ever wonder how top DJs actually built their careers?
I had to do 15 years of hard work to get any of the recognition that I wanted.
Where I saw a turning point in my career is when I became true to myself.
From marketing and mindset to networking and negotiation, I'm giving you the tools you need to build a lasting career in dance music.
Give them bits of you and your everyday life.
You have to change the way you view the word no. Like me, I'm encouraged by it.
Join me, Olivia Mancuso, and industry leaders as we reveal what it really takes to turn your passion into profit. This is Elevated Frequencies. So this is not your first time headlining in Chicago. I think the first time was like 2 years ago. Is that correct?
Yeah, 2 years ago, I played Chop Shop, and it was a lot of fun.
So a lot has happened between now and then. What does it feel like coming back, especially knowing that this is part of your debut EP tour?
It feels really good being back here 2 years later. I played Lala last year, which was really awesome. But I'm really excited to actually have a full body of work that I'm touring with this time. I feel like it really shows off my artistry. So that's super exciting. And I'm also playing 2 nights this time at Concord Music Hall. And it's a bigger venue. So it's just really cool to see the growth. And then the thing I'm most excited about is that I have a road team this year. So I have my VJ Laura, who's new to the team this year, and same with my lighting and production designer, Drake. And they've been working super hard to just make sure this tour is everything that we want it to be. So I'm really excited.
I want to get into all that, but first, let's establish some background because I understand that you were a songwriter first.
Yeah.
So how has, ALLEYCVT, the songwriter, shaped ALLEYCVT, the producer, who you are today?
I think it taught me a lot of versatility. Because as a songwriter, you kind of have to put yourself in different perspectives. Like sometimes I was writing as a guy, like talking to a girl. And I think it gave me a lot of versatility in that way. And I also think it made me a little bit just diversified because I'm really open to constructive criticism now and rewriting. Also working with other people in rooms was really cool because I got to learn from them and kind of see how they write and kind of just see their process. And I picked up a lot on that. So now, when I write as myself as an artist, I take all of those things into account and I try to do what's best for the art and the song itself rather than just like my ego, Sure.
Is songwriting as technical as producing? I'm genuinely not aware because I'm not a musician.
I would say that they're both really technical in their own ways. Like songwriting, it's kind of one of those things where if you're songwriting for other people or yourself, like I guess for other people, you kind of pick up on like their inflections and like how they say things and like their melodies. And it challenges you to kind of pick different words than you usually would to just kind of elevate yourself as a songwriter. But production is genuinely a whole different beast. Like I feel like especially electronic music, there's a lot of sound design involved and a lot of people who produce in the electronic space also mix their own stuff. So that's like a whole different, it's actually like a monster. Like learning how to do mixdowns, like that was super tough for me. I would say that there's equal amounts of learning going into each, but I would say like producing is definitely harder for me. Like it's more of a learning curve for sure.
Yeah. I've gotten that feedback. I actually, for the first time, I've interviewed someone who said he was a producer first before he was an artist. But I feel like artists like really care about that distinction between the different components that make up like let's say artist is the overarching thing. There's producer, there's songwriter, there's DJ, and production is like the beast for everybody for the most part.
I would say it's a lot of like, it's like so nerdy. Like, and I'm a nerd like through and through, like when it comes to sound design. But yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that like, it's almost like learning. I mean, you're literally learning a software.
Right.
And yeah, it's crazy. But I will say like songwriting influences my production in the same way that my production influences my songwriting. Like when I'm making a song, I kind of write them both at the same time. Like I can't really make a song and then write over it now as an artist, which is weird because that's what I was doing as a songwriter. But now I feel like in order for me to make the best product, I have to do it at the exact same time. Like I'll write a melody and then I'll write like the hook to it and then kind of simultaneously do it together.
Interesting. Yeah. I can't even begin to fathom that process. I have an artist brother, and I just like every time he's even tried to teach, he's like, I'm like, nope, I'm okay. It's a crazy talent. Okay. So to be honest with you, I'm not that deeply entrenched in the bass community, and I'm starting to interview more and more bass artists. And one thing that I've really noticed is the fan base in the bass community is really special. And I think it's a little bit different than other subgenres of electronic music. So how would you categorize it? How would you explain bass fans?
I would say that it's definitely a unique thing because I think with any niche genre of music, you have a very tight-knit community. Like I love saying this thing. It's like when you see like a raver out in the wild, like someone wearing like an artist's merch that it's like, oh, like I could be friends with that person because like I never see anyone like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not really, it's not like a super mainstream thing. So I think that the community is super tight knit. And I think the thing that I love the most about it as a producer, at least, is I feel like the bass scene is a bit more open to experimentation. And like, we like that weird shit. Like we like weird sounds. So I think when an artist wants to experiment with something, it's well received. Like people are receptive to it, which I think is really creatively freeing as an artist.
Interesting. So it sounds like bass fans are very trustworthy of the people they follow.
Yeah.
I could see we don't have, I think in the house music communities, there's some issues around there. I mean, there has been more crossover. I think the genres are just blending so much nowadays. And I think that's got to be really freeing.
Yeah, like I've seen like a lot of house artists kind of like throw in a bass song. Even techno artists. I forget who it was, but I saw him throwing down rhythm. Like somewhere in Europe. And I was like, cool. This is cool.
Yeah, and like for the most part, I mean, so I'm almost 34. The first electronic music I ever heard was hardstyle in 8th grade. Okay, so that's where I started.
That's so like, okay, so you jumped right in.
Yeah, so I don't know how I ended there, but that's how I started. And then of course, dubstep and EDM like popularity exploded in like 2010s, and then I found house, and I have respect for all the genres, but I feel like the longer you've been in the scene, the more open you are to all of the music. I think it's like the young new fans who are just like, this is the best and fuck everyone else.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've noticed that too. Like I think at the beginning of my raver journey, because like I've always been a raver, like I've been raving since I was like 16. And like at first I was like, oh, yeah, like dubstep is the best. And I'm gonna be a bass head for like the rest of my life. I just love bass music so much. It's like something with my ADHD. I don't even know. But I'm starting to really, really like trance. I really, really love techno. I love house. I actually used to not like hardstyle or drum and bass, but like
interesting.
But then a few years ago I started getting into it, and now I love it. So I really like. I don't feel like I can truly judge any like genre of music. I love it all.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know if there's a reality in which I would go listen to hardstyle for multiple hours in a row, but
see, okay, sorry, not to interrupt you, but see, that's the thing. I think like the thing about it is that I honestly don't know if I would enjoy an entire hour and 30 minutes of like just straight, super, super hard tear out heavy dubstep. Like I definitely like, I feel like I need a variety, like peaks and valleys in a set, you know? So like when someone throws in hardstyle in a dubstep set, like that's so sick to me. Totally. Or like, when someone throws down bass in a house set, I think that's just awesome.
It's surprise and delight.
Exactly.
I had, my business partner is a DJ, and he had a surprise drummer in his show this past weekend.
So
and he's a house artist, but he plays a lot of bass house and then like veers into bass as well. And it was so much fun to just get that variety. Because again, if you're in the scene a really long time, sometimes you need something new and fresh.
Yeah.
And I feel like that also, I don't know, you answer this, but does that help you as an artist feel not so pigeonholed? Like you're like, okay, I can try new things and people will be receptive to it.
Yeah, 100%. I do. And I love that too, because it brings a new energy into the set. And it's just like, I think there's like an art form into building sets. Like you want to kind of, the way I do it is like, 5 minutes of like one thing and then kind of like throw down something for a surprise, go back into it and kind of tell a story with the set almost. Yeah, I think it's super freeing to be able to know that you can kind of just throw any genre in there and people will be like, okay,
Yeah.
like I like this, it's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How would you say, because your social media presence is incredible and you post very frequently, how would you say that's played a role in helping shape your career and like take you to where you are today?
So like I would say that there's definitely some strategy behind it, like consistency and just kind of like having a baseline of knowing what resonates and what doesn't. But I think that the thing that really made it happen and like makes it work is when you're being authentic. I don't know what it is. Like I've just recently, like I have this theory that like people can just, it doesn't matter how much you're faking it. Like if you don't want to make that video, like if you're not excited about the song you're promoting, people can see right through it. Like they just know.
Yeah.
So it's like, you really just have to be yourself. And it doesn't even mean like dancing in front of the camera. Like I do that just cause like, I'm just like, I like doing that.
You've been a raver since you were 16. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I love it. So that's what I do, but it doesn't even need to be that. It can just be, you just have to put your music, you have to let people know that you've released a song. Like, you know?
Yeah. I know it's tough. It's tough a lot. I feel like a lot of artists can't get out of their own way.
It's so hard to get out of your own way. I'm so serious.
And you're right about not, people can tell when you don't want to make a video or when you didn't want to make it. Just before you came in, I was shooting a video that I wasn't in the mood to shoot, and every take was horrible.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to probably have to fucking reshoot this because I look annoyed. Like, I literally look.
I wear my emotions so hard on my face too, so it's just like, I can't hide shit. Like, if it's not something I want to do that day, I've noticed it too. It's like, there have been times where I'm like, okay, I have to promote this song, and like, I don't know, I wasn't feeling the best that day, or I was in my own head.
Yeah.
And I post it, and it just like, doesn't, it's like people just know it doesn't do that well. It's just so weird. Like you have to just like be into it.
Yeah.
People can read it.
I agree. Like for me, it's like, oh, I don't like how I looked or like whatever. And sometimes I'll just get over it and I'll just post anyway. Because at this point it's all about volume. But you're right. Like you have to feel good about what you're putting out there and believe in it. Because if you don't, why should anybody else?
Exactly. It comes from you. It comes from like the inside and like how you feel first, I think.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, so I want to talk about your tour now because you've had a lot of tracks like hit the millions of streams as singles, which is really incredible. And
Thank
like,
you.
I love that you're like giggling about that. Like you're just like, does it still seem like so crazy like to hear that number?
Yeah, like it's something I've always dreamed about. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't understand. I'm just like, what?
It's it's a testament to talent and perseverance. But as you know, as someone who's had that success on singles, talk to me about what were the different pressures of like putting out this large body of work? Because my audience is primarily artists. And, you know, this is something that's on every aspiring artist, you know, up and coming artist radar is like putting out a body of work that shows their full artistry. So what was that like? When did you know like, okay, now's the time to do something like this?
I guess it started during COVID was when kind of everything started. I kind of got out of the songwriting thing because, you know, sessions weren't happening. I was in LA. That was like the peak of like the epidemic going on, you know, or the epidemic, it's same thing. Same. So that's when I started. It was because I was about to go on my third tour and I was like, okay, like I need to, I can't just tour with like just singles anymore. Like I want to feel like a real artist that is putting out something cohesive. And I've always wanted to put out a body of work. I think it's just like the pressure. Honestly, it's so hard to even create a body of work because you have to stay consistent with releasing music. And I was like, okay, how am I going to keep releasing all this music while also saving some of this music to create a body of work while also playing shows and like keeping up with social media and all that. So it took me a while, I think, to get to a point where I felt like I was ready to actually present the body of work. And I got super in my head. I was like, I want it to be cohesive. I want it to be good. Yeah, like it took a minute, but I'm glad that I kind of just like locked in and got it done because I think it's important to have like a body of work, even though we're in like a world of releasing singles and singles and singles. But
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like there's so much pressure to just get music out. Like I just had a Velo in here last week. If you've ever met him,
Love
he's
him.
another.
He's great.
He's great. He's so funny. But he talks about, how fast he moves, and he was saying something about like not signing more than a couple tracks to each label, not committing to, like 10 track, whatever, because he's just committed to getting stuff out as fast as possible. Because that's the name of the game now. So to know that you are doing that while also doing this, it's like, how do you manage your time effectively?
I have no idea, honestly. Like, I just literally try my best. Like, I don't know. I think I try to allocate time every day to working on the thing that I know needs to be done in the future and just kind of taking it day by day. I think if you try to do everything all at once, I mean, sometimes it works that way too. I'm very fluid in the way that I work. Like sometimes I can compartmentalize things and get them done in a timely manner. But then other times I just have to like full on ADHD lock in and just like not sleep, like barely eat and just like lock in and get it done. But usually that just comes naturally if I'm like super into what I'm doing.
I love sessions like that.
The flow state.
The flow state of just like knowing, like, but then you realize, like, at least for me, I'm like sitting at my desk and every bone is like cramped up and like twisted, and I'm sitting on my like leg weird, and I'm like, okay, I've been like this for 9 hours.
Yeah, I have perpetual shrimp posture.
Like
I'm literally just like this all the time. Like it's horrible. I need a chiropractor so bad.
Yeah, I know. And then like decks too, like leaning over decks and stuff. Yeah, I know. That's like just a symptom of getting older though too.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just like, damn.
I saw my mom for the first, this is so random. I saw my mom for the first time because she just lives in another state for 6 months, and she like shrunk 2 inches.
My mom's drinking too.
And I'm like, holy shit, that's
like,
a real thing?
Yeah. She's like, she said, she was like, your brother told me I'm shrinking.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. Because when you don't see someone for a long time, then like it all, you know what I mean? If you see them every day, it's kind of gradual. But I'm like, why are you like 4'9"? And I'm like, oh my God, you're so small. Yeah. Okay. So we know that's coming for us in our future.
I think I got some room though. I'm 5'9", so like I can afford to shrink.
That's
like,
what I was going to say. So like probably, because I know like, I mean, do they adjust the tables, like height for you and stuff? Because that's like pretty tall for a woman.
It's so funny because at the beginning of my career, like, I wasn't bringing in like any sort of production. I was just kind of playing with like what they had. And like, there's been a few times where I've played on picnic tables with CDJs on it. And like, they're so low to the ground. And I'm literally just like, it's the most awkward thing you've ever seen.
Funny.
It's insane. Yeah.
That's so funny.
It actually like pissed me off. I was like, this is insane. Like I look crazy.
Yeah. So there needs to be like, someone needs to make an adjustable DJ table or something. I got to start that business.
I should just do it. No, like you can't, you heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Yep. Yep. I need a new revenue stream.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So speaking of production, you said that this is the first time that you've taken a crew with you on tour, which is like a big leap, because I know that, artist budgets, you really have to decide where's the best place to allocate that money, because it could be like, with you on tour, it could be post-production. There's so many different places. So why did you decide like this was the time you could take people with you and like just really have that, full team behind you?
I think I really wanted to do my 9 Lives EP justice and like really kind of bring people into my world, especially with the Planet Supersonic shows. Like with all the Supersonic shows that I've been doing, I mean, there's been 2 so far, which was Caverns and then Mission Ballroom.
Right.
I really just want to show my fans that it's an experience that you can come to, and I want to impress them. Like I want them to have like a really good time. So I think it's worth spending the money on that. There's a lot of times where I do like sometimes lose money on shows because I just want them to have a good time. And that, it really comes down to me just like really wanting my fans to have a good experience. And I think I'm at that point now where I can kind of facilitate that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really important that artists talk about that. I've heard it from when John Summit did like a live talk here a couple years ago. He's like, we're just starting to break even on Cavern stuff. He's like, just barely.
Yeah.
I think it's important for other artists to hear that, but I also think it's important for fans to hear that, because there's so much criticism of, I don't know, everybody's like a music review critic at this point, like after shows, like talking about the set reviews.
Everyone's got their piece.
In the house music community, there's like these burner accounts who do set reviews. I'm like, I'm sorry, like,
I would crash out. Like,
You're not
oh my
a
God.
Forbes acclaimed writer, okay? Like I don't
Yeah.
care about your, dissertation. And I think like they just forget that like artists are real people and that you are running a business, but you are losing money because you believe in the vision and you're doing it for your fans.
Yeah, it's honestly, I mean, me and my artist friends talk about this all the time. It's like, if only like people really understood what it's like. It's like you see someone who's a DJ and like, yeah, like they have like a few nice pieces of clothing and stuff because that's part of the job. It's like we want to look fly, like we want to look cool. It's almost like we want to look cool, like, you know, like, it's a persona at the end of the day too, like on top of everything. But yeah, it's not really easy. It's like social media is so fake. It's like, oh, I'm playing this show, selling it out, drinking with my friends. And that's literally like this much of it.
Yeah.
It's so much more and it's so grueling and it's a lot of money and like you really it's one of those things that you have to be passionate about because if you're doing it for the money or you're doing it for the notoriety, like it's just not going to work. Like you're going to hate your life.
100%. And I do think I posted about this the other day and it like got some mixed feedback. I do think a lot of artists, new artists, try to approach the DJ career like they approached it as a fan, drinking, partying, having fun. And then they learn, oh, this is actually like a lot of boring shit, like a lot of like business stuff that is no different than running like a plumbing company. Like at the end of the day, a business is a business.
Exactly. Like you really own your own business. And like, if you ask anybody that is an entrepreneur in any way, like your entire life goes to that. It's like when I can see my friends and just do some homie hangout type shit, I'm like, this is amazing. Cause it's like, you don't get to do that. All of my DJ friends, like we don't really have like social lives really like outside of the social life that comes with being a DJ and like seeing the people that you usually see. Like, don't get me wrong. I love it, but like, yeah.
It's
like,
not necessarily like the same quality time that you would have if you were, doing it on your own, and everyone has their own schedules and it's a lot of work. So I know that you care about environmental causes too, and you do something like $1 per ticket sold goes to environmental causes. I'm butchering it. Explain that.
Oh no, you're not. Yeah, so it's $1 per ticket sold goes to every one of my tours. I try to donate to an organization that I feel passionate about. Last year we did One Tree Planted. And then during the Southern California fires that just happened, there was like a lot of animals that were burned or like were strays. And so I did a little thing where I made a t-shirt and basically all of the proceeds went to the Humane Society so that they could like rescue animals and stuff. And I thought that was really cool and it helped the animals a good amount. So I'm really happy about that. And then for this tour, I'm partnering with this organization called Rewild. So they basically like help bring nature back by working with local communities. They rediscover endangered species that we thought didn't exist anymore, so they can help with conservation and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool.
I was just noticing your tattoo. You're an animal lover.
Oh yeah.
Obviously. Does that have significance?
Yeah, I have actually like never really gotten into this before, but it's a coyote.
Okay.
And the reason why I got it actually was the first time I ever came to LA, I was recording pop music and when you're like a little girl with a dream, you hear about Los Angeles and it's like, oh my God. So I was there, I was recording and I was like, wow, I'm living my dream. And I was staying at this spot and it was in the canyon like area. So I could hear the coyotes kind of howling. And I was like, I don't know. It's the concept of coyotes I think are cool because they're a very misunderstood animal. And I think they're very resilient. And that's why I got the tattoo because I told myself, I was like, I'm never going to give up. Like there's going to be a lot of people that try to, tell me no or shoot me down or any of that. But I just have to, get up and keep going. And the reason why that relates to coyotes is because when they're hunted, they actually know that they're being like hunted and they repopulate even more. So it's like that concept, I guess.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, of
also,
course.
I would totally, like, if I had the opportunity, I would try to domesticate a coyote.
Oh, they're so
cute.
They're just so little
cute.
guys. I see them
know.
walking around sometimes in the street, and I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, the only thing is I have 2 chihuahuas, So I'm
that's not
definitely,
good.
I'm
Wait,
definitely.
have you seen those little chihuahua
vests?
vests with the spikes? They're so cute.
Yeah, if I ever had to live like out west, like I would have to get those, especially
Yeah.
because one of my chihuahuas like thinks he's a coyote, so he would.
It's
try
always
to
the
go
little ones.
I know. He would
My
try to
dog's
go
like that
toe
too.
to toe with any animal. So
That's so funny.
yeah. So tell me, what's been the most difficult part about everything you've achieved so far?
I think probably just the mindset and trying not to compare myself to other people. I think it's really hard, like, just kind of keep like a good head on your shoulders and know. And it's hard to like sometimes remember why you got into it in the first place, because like you're so deep in the mud with everything and you're always working. And I think it's just hard to sometimes remember that it's okay to fail. And it's okay to just kind of like take time for yourself. And like, you're human. Like, I'm a human being. And it's like, I'm not just a robot. I'm making art that is going to be interpreted very subjectively by whoever wants to like share their opinion. And it's just something that you kind of have to like sit with and understand and come to terms with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great advice. Everything in this world is subjective. And that is a great reminder. Shit, I needed to hear that today myself. So thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so last question for you. What's something that you want to achieve in the next year or so as ALLEYCVT that's not related to streaming, bookings, numbers, just something maybe non-tangible, intangible, or, not so quantitative?
I would say, I think like at the end of the day, my main goal is to be able to just foster community where my fans feel at home, like where they can feel like they can be themselves and just have a good time and also just feel safe. Yeah, I kind of just want to create a community that feels really good. And then I think outside of like the whole music thing, I just want to make some sort of an impact anywhere that I can, like whether it's animals or the environment or just anything that does some good to the world. Like, I want to use the platform that I have to try to make a difference, even if it's small.
Love that. Well, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.